In the bustling heart of Mumbai's crowded street market, where the air was thick with the scent of cardamom and fried dough, a sleek black limousine pulled up unexpectedly, causing vendors to pause and shoppers to whisper. Out stepped Raj Kapoor, the city's most infamous millionaire, his tailored suit gleaming under the harsh afternoon sun. He strode directly to a modest sweet stall run by a young woman named Priya, her hands dusted with flour as she arranged trays of glistening jalebis and barfis. Without a word, Raj pulled out a wad of cash thicker than Priya's arm and declared in a voice loud enough for the entire market to hear, "If I buy all the sweets in your stall right now, will you marry me?" The crowd gasped, phones whipped out to record the spectacle. Priya looked up, her eyes wide, and in that frozen moment, she uttered words that would shatter Raj's world forever. But what she said next, well, that's where our story truly begins. Priya's response wasn't a simple yes or no. Instead, she set down her ladle, wiped her hands on her faded apron, and said, "Sir, you can buy all the sweets, but you can't buy my heart. It's already broken beyond repair." The market fell silent, and Raj, for the first time in his life of boardroom conquests and billion-dollar deals, felt a pang of genuine shock ripple through him. He had expected flirtation, perhaps negotiation, but not this raw honesty. As the crowd murmured, Priya turned away, her shoulders slumping as if carrying an invisible weight. Raj stood there, cash in hand, wondering what hidden pain could make a simple street vendor reject a life of luxury so outright. Little did he know, this rejection was just the spark that would ignite a journey into her past, and force him to confront his own empty soul. Raj couldn't let it go. That evening, as the sun dipped below the skyline, casting long shadows over his penthouse overlooking the Arabian Sea, he replayed the moment in his mind. Who was this Priya? Why did her eyes hold such sorrow? Driven by a mix of curiosity and bruised ego, he hired a private investigator to dig into her life. What he uncovered the next day hit him like a monsoon storm. Priya wasn't just a vendor, she was a widow at 28, her husband lost to a tragic accident 2 years prior. They had run the sweet stall together, a dream built from scratch after eloping against their family's wishes. But the accident, a reckless truck driver on a rainy night, had left her not only alone but drowning in debt from medical bills and loans taken to keep the stall afloat. Raj stared at the report, his coffee growing cold. For a man who had everything money could buy, yachts, mansions, even a private jet, he suddenly felt poor. How could he approach her now? Would she see him as just another opportunist? The following morning, Raj returned to the market, this time without the limo or the fanfare. He wore a simple shirt and jeans, blending in as best a millionaire could. Priya was there, as always, her smile forced for customers but her eyes distant. He bought a single piece of peta, lingering to chat. "Your sweets are the best I've ever tasted," he said casually. She nodded politely, but as he turned to leave, he added, "I didn't mean to offend yesterday. I saw you and felt something real for the first time in years." Priya paused, her hand hovering over the cash box. "Real? In my world, real means struggle, not spectacle." Their conversation flowed tentatively, like a river finding its path. Raj learned about her late husband, Arjun, a kind man who had taught her the art of sweets making from his grandmother's recipes. Arjun's death had left a void, not just emotional but financial. Creditors hounded her, threatening to seize the stall. Raj offered help anonymously through a charity fund, but Priya's pride made her wary. As days turned into weeks, Raj visited daily, not as a suitor but as a friend, helping with small tasks like carrying supplies or even stirring the syrup under her guidance. For the first time, he felt the joy of simple labor, his hands blistering from the heat, but his heart warming. Yet, challenges loomed like dark clouds. Raj's business empire was crumbling under a scandal, his right-hand man had embezzled millions, and investors were pulling out. The stress mounted, and in a moment of vulnerability, he confided in Priya during one of their late evening talks at the stall. I've built everything with money, but now it's all slipping away. Maybe I deserve it. Priya listened, her own scars making her empathetic. Money isn't the enemy, Raj. It's what we do without it that defines us. Their bond deepened, but Priya's past resurfaced when her in-laws, who had disowned her for marrying Arjun, learned of Raj's interest. They stormed the market one afternoon, accusing her of dishonoring their son's memory by entertaining a rich playboy. The confrontation escalated, with shouts echoing through the stalls, drawing a crowd. Priya stood firm, tears in her eyes, but inside, doubt crept in. Was she betraying Arjun? Could she ever love again? Raj stepped in, defending her, but the in-laws' words stung. You'll never understand our pain. You're just buying your way in. As the sun set that day, Priya whispered to Raj, maybe this is too much. Maybe we should stop. And just like that, their fragile connection teetered on the edge of breaking. Raj refused to give up. He dove into saving his company, working tirelessly to expose the embezzler and rebuild trust. In the process, he realized his wealth had isolated him, friends were few, family distant since his parents' passing in his youth. Priya's story mirrored his own loneliness, and he began volunteering at a local orphanage, inspired by her tales of community support. One evening, as rain poured down, he arrived at the stall soaked, carrying a box of ingredients he knew she needed. I didn't buy this to impress you, he said. I bought it because I care about you, not your sweets. Priya hesitated, then invited him inside her tiny home behind the stall, a cramped room filled with photos of Arjun and faded dreams. Over chai, she opened up about her deepest fear. Loving again meant risking more loss. Arjun was my everything. What if I lose you too? Raj shared his own vulnerabilities, admitting his proposal was born from desperation, not love. I've chased deals my whole life, but with you, I want something real. Their conversation stretched into the night, tears mixing with laughter as they bonded over shared pains. But as dawn approached, a knock at the door brought shocking news. The creditors had filed for eviction. Priya's stall was hours from being shut down. How could they fight this now? With time running out, Raj and Priya teamed up. He used his connections to negotiate with the creditors, not by paying them off outright, that would undermine her independence, but by helping her secure a small business loan through legitimate channels. Priya, in turn, innovated her recipes, adding modern twists like fusion sweets that attracted younger customers. Together, they transformed the stall into a buzzing spot, with Raj's marketing savvy drawing in crowds via social media. Yet, emotional hurdles remained. Priya's in-laws returned, this time softer, moved by stories of Raj's genuine efforts. A family meeting turned tense when old grudges surfaced, accusations of abandonment flew, and Priya broke down, revealing how their rejection after Arjun's death had deepened her isolation. Raj mediated, sharing his own story of losing his parents young and building walls with money. We all have scars, he said. But healing comes from forgiveness. Slowly, bridges mended, the in-laws offered recipes from Arjun's side, symbolizing acceptance. As the stall thrived, Priya faced her ultimate challenge, confronting her guilt over moving on. In a quiet moment under the stars, she visited Arjun's grave, whispering, "You'd want me to be happy." Returning, she found Raj waiting, not with cash, but with a handmade sweet, a clumsy attempt at her favorite gulab jamun. "I made this myself," he laughed. "It's terrible, but it's from the heart." Months passed, and their relationship blossomed naturally, free from spectacle. Raj proposed again, this time on a simple walk along the beach, with no crowds or cash. "Priya, I've learned that love isn't about buying happiness, it's about building it together. Will you marry me?" Her yes was tearful, joyful, a resolution to years of pain. They married in a modest ceremony at the market, surrounded by vendors and friends, the stall adorned with lights and sweets. Raj scaled back his empire, focusing on philanthropy, while Priya expanded her business into a chain, empowering other widows. Their story became a beacon. Money can open doors, but true connection heals wounds. And so, as we circle back to that fateful day in the market, remember Raja's bold proposal and Priya's shocking response. It wasn't the end, it was the beginning of a love story that proved resilience, empathy, and second chances can triumph over loss. What started with sweets ended with something sweeter, a life shared. If this story touched your heart, hit that like button and subscribe for more inspiring tales. Thanks for watching.